Alright, everybody, we're here with another game of Pauper, and we're gonna go first. Alright, so this has no lands, so we have to send it back. Um, this isn't great, but we're gonna keep it. Basically just because any planes or any type of white is gonna turn this on, and we have Pestilence already going for it. So, we'll lead with that, and then we will pass. Alright, so we're up against Storm. Um, the hand we have right now is not going to be too good. We do have Prismatic Strands, so if we can get that online, we're actually going to have a pretty decent shot at maybe beating him game one, depending on whether he is grape shotting or goblin storming, emptying, I guess would be the right word for that. And we, okay. And now this isn't good because now he knows we have the two strands, but even so, if we could turn one of them on, uh, we will have the creature to play to get the flashback. So we could buy ourselves pretty decent amount of time, unless it goes off now and then we lose, which might be the case. So we'll see what happens. Also, if we can lock in Pestilence against him, it completely shuts off the empty the Warrens. Game one against Storm is not very good for us, but the sideboard, which right now is pretty like anti-cloud post, works just as well as anti-storm because you're bringing in duresses, distresses, and castigates, and echoing decays are in there too, just for the storm matchup. So after sighting, we basically bring in the entire board against him, so that's pretty good. There's also funeral charms, which are good against them. I mean, you hit a card, you just try to cut down what they do. Alright, so that was... Alright, let's see. No, it's not helpful. Alright, so he's going to see this, and it's going to basically force him to go off next turn. Probably. Alright, so right now I think we just pass and keep strands up. And then we could always cast strands during the end of his turn, which will let us play a creature. And then we can still keep strands up. Okay, so we're going to play this now. So this is going to let us tap out and play Guardian without worrying about getting overrun the next turn. And now we could actually just start playing things too. And then actually at the end of our turn, we get this. Next turn we could play Pestilence and keep the 1-up, which should pretty much lock this up. Assuming he doesn't, because then we'll have the Prismatic Strands in the graveyard against Grape Shot, and then we'll have Pestilence up for the Goblin tokens, and I don't know and that's pretty much. So we basically shut off both of his win conditions. I'm really surprised he hasn't tried to go off yet. Maybe he's just hit a wall with his hand. But yeah, he basically has to do something this turn. Because if he passes now, we pretty much lock this up. Especially because he probed earlier. So he knows we have Pestilence. Alright. So we'll get a Plains. He got rid of Empty the Warrens. That's interesting. So I think we're just going to play Pestilence. And we will attack with one Guardian. So we need to leave one untapped. Also, if we put him down to 8, we're still killing him in 3 turns anyway. So it's not a big deal. Alright, so that was surprising. That worked out well for us. I guess he might have just, sometimes he just got flooded or something. And we drew the right cards, so sometimes that happens. Okay, so stuff we don't need. We don't need that. This is really, the house, we don't need the transmute against him because you're transmuting on turn 3 and you should be dead by then. The Grim Harvest and Disturbed Burials are really useless, and the Journey to Nowheres are useless. Wall of Hopes aren't very useful, and Pestilence is actually it's pretty mediocre, especially because it's basically just acting as an echoing decay on a stick. But we'll see where we're at when we bring all the other stuff in. So we want the stresses, duresses, and castigates. Echoing decays are good. Funeral charms, it's okay. Wall of Hope is, we don't need the Wall of Hopes. They're okay as a way to use the strands, but we have other ways of doing that with the Lone Missionaries, which are a little more proactive against them. And then we'll bring in the 2 Funeral Charms. We're bringing those in just for the discard to try to force out cards from his hand and try to cut off his power. And I think that's good. Alright, so this is good. We're definitely going to keep this. Yeah, this is really good. Because, well, turn 2, then we can duress, and then we'll see where he's at and go from there. But alright, so our hand's pretty stacked right now. We'll see where he's at. Okay, so we're definitely gonna hit taking the grave shot here. Okay. He's bringing this in against Pestilence, but we have Echoing Decay, so we don't even really have to worry about the Goblin tokens right now. And he doesn't have a Bushwhacker with it, so that's the only way that would matter. Everything. So we'll just get rid of that. Ideally, he won't. It would actually be pretty good on the next arrest to hit the probe, unless he plays it now, because it'll let us. It'll prevent him from knowing that we have decay, so we can kind of blow him out. Well, scratch that. So he knows we have decay. He's gonna be playing around that now, so that makes it a little harder for us. But even so, we have a lot of ways to hit his hand right now, because we can duress and then play the skulls, and at that point, a lot of his, well, he'll discard the Ray of Revelation with the thing, but this will cut away a lot of his gas, and we should be in good shape here. He's commenting on the amount of hate cards we have against him. So yeah, the side is basically just against Cloudpost and Storm. because the main deck is already really strong against any type of attacking decks. We'll just F6 there. And I'm really not sure what he's going to be doing here. I wouldn't be surprised if it fizzles here. I think what's happening is that he just sees all the hate cards that we have against him and that we're tapped out, so he's just got to try to go off this turn because it only gets worse from here, especially when we start, playing all the hand disruption and just keep hitting on him harder. So this turn he would need, like, I don't know how many grape shots he's running because we already hit one, and most of these decks only run maybe one or two grape shots. I could be wrong. It depends on the build. He could have more. And he would really need empty the Warrens with the Bushwhacker. All right, so he conceded. So that was the Storm matchup. I will pause the video and start it up when another game starts.